bro.
Nema alikuja collect strokes.
Unaambia bro.
Anataka ame collect.
Unaambia bro, tuongee hapa nje kidogo. Anambia tuongee tu hapa. Hicho kitendo ambacho mnataka mnabania kufanya.
Every nigga needs a Harris in their life.
Hicho kitendo ni usinzi. Oh, you know when you're releasing an album, on the cover you have to write all the featurings and all that. So RK called me. He was like, "So what name should we put?" I told him, "Put Street Doctor." so Street Doctor was my first name. Yeah, Street Doctor was my first name.
And of course, from the north, east, west, and south, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kenya's vouched most mature podcast in the country right now. This is the Lessons at 30 with Dr.Ofweneke. My name is the Eagle himself, the Duke of Kakamega. Dr.Ofweneke is my name, and Asanteni Sana. Thank you so much for the positive comments and, of course, the feedback that we're getting, of course, on the show from either online and also even when meeting on ground as well. Asanteni Sana. Much appreciated. And remember, the guys are watching all the way from diaspora. Remember, ISP has your back. So if you're watching and you're not in America yet and you have the desire of going to America, please, if you have any skill that you want to take there, all right? You're a skilled person. Remember, if you have any skill, then it's even much easier for you to actually get a green card all the way to the USA to work there and live there, all right? And the only guys who have the legit method, strategy, and plan to get you there is ISP. So please make sure you get in contact with them. Their numbers are right there on the screen, their contacts, and of course on the website. And of course, they're right here at Mirage building on Wayakiwe. That's where the physical offices are. So this is probably brought to you by ISP. Now, ladies and gentlemen, without taking too much of your time, thank you so much, of course, to our past episode lecturer, Jared, aka Honorable Defao, who brought in immense wisdom on the show. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I travel all the way to my land and I bring to you a brother, a friend, a comedian mate, a person we've had so much fun, deep conversations over the years, and have always had each other's back over the years. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, kwao na kwetu, nikipika kuku, kwao harufu inafika, na yeye analeta ugali on this other side. He is an award-winning artist, one of the biggest legendary gospel artists in the industry, ladies and gentlemen. And on top of it all, he now runs an amazing app. Those who run schools and everything, then you better stay tuned to know what application are we talking about that this gentleman has launched. On top of it all, he's also, alongside my other brother, DJ Mo, they're currently doing one of the fastest growing podcasts in the country. Ladies and gentlemen, from a musical family, when he came into fame, people really didn't understand his type of music. And then, of course, he had the biggest controversies in the gospel industry when he came and called himself a Lingala name. The people thought, this one refers to a demonic altar than a godly altar. No man made Lingala gospel music sound so nice more than this guy, ladies and gentlemen. Papa Floro, the king of Kapangala, Daddy Owen, is our guest lecturer on Lessons at 30.
Yote ni intro.
Yote ni yako.
Yote ni intro.
Yote ni yako, bro.
Bro.
And based on how much you've known each other, nimeipunguza.
Paka nimesikia fiti.
Bro, welcome to the show.
Nimesmile.
Bro, nimekutafuta. Whoa. Karibu tuifanyie home December.
Mimi ndio huyu bro. Usinitafute sana, mimi ndio huyu. Finally I'm here.
Bro, how many years in the industry? How many years?
25?
25.
I think 25. I think. I'm not sure, but close to 25.
Let me ask, do you listen to your own music right now?
No. You okay, you know the weird thing about a musician is when you're writing a song and then when you go to the producer, the studio, the whole process until you finish the song, you normally listen to that song like 1,000,001 times because you listen to it over and over. Because a song has processes. The first
Yes.
process, of course, is writing the song,
Okay.
and then after that, you go to the producer and tell the producer, because as you mature as a musician, you realize that some songs can suit a different producer.
Mhm.
That's why you'll find someone like me. I normally work with very different producers.
I realize
So
that.
if you're looking for a mellow song, there's someone who can do a mellow song. If you're looking for an upbeat song, there's someone who can do an upbeat song. So after you have the idea, you look for the producer who can merge or bring out the idea well. So when you go to the producer now, you start making the beat. You give the producer the idea of the beat that you want. So you make the beat, and then from there you rehearse with the beat again for you to make sure that the verses you've written, the melody, everything is synchronizing well. Then from there, now you go and record the vocals. After doing the vocals again, you need to listen to the song over and over, because one of the most important parts of music is arrangement. So many people are very talented, but now arrangement of songs is one of the hardest.
It's the hardest
ever.
thing to do.
So the arrangement bit of it, now you have to listen to it over and over. Then after arranging, there's what we call mixing and mastering. So after mixing and mastering, again as a musician, you have to listen to it to hear if the master is good, if the mixing was done well. So by the time you're releasing the song, you've made sure that you've listened to it so many times. Apart from that, I'm one of those few perfectionists. After I listen to my songs, when it's out, I always feel like I listened to a mistake that I wish I
Could have
rectified.
corrected that.
Yes, I rectified while it's still in the studio. So most of the time, you don't listen to your song. You're always like, once it's out, it's done.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Wow. Let me ask, and especially now coming from a gospel minister.
Yeah.
When you're going to a producer,
Mhm.
must the producer be saved for them to produce your song?
That's the challenge that we had when we started the gospel music, because the issue those days was you have to go to a producer who is saved. But unfortunately, there were only like 2 or 3 producers who are very good and they were born again. Robert Kamanzi, RK,
RK.
of course, Dr. Eddie and the rest.
Mm.
But now you reach a point whereby you want to push the envelope. You want to make sure that your songs cut across. You want to make sure that your songs go to the different level. Because if you listen to most gospel producers, they're very good when it comes to mellow songs. Because most of the gospel producers are their roots, it's more in the church. And church is more about the praise and worship.
Yeah.
And then more of, when it comes to praise, is more of Lingala and that. But now when you want to do something out of that league, maybe something like dancehall, raga, hip hop, and all these things, you find that you have to look for other producers outside your same
within the spirituality level that
Yes.
you're looking for.
Yes. And to be very honest, I always feel like at that time, we used to abide to those rules. But as you grow spiritually, you discover some things are just lies. Because people will tend to force you to abide to some rules because you are Ofweneke. But in real sense, you can't say that now you can't enter into this shop because the shopkeeper is not a born-again Christian. You can't eat that food because the chef is not a born-again Christian. Those are things that now it's more of it's skewed morality. Yeah, it's skewed. Guys just are looking for ways.
I like that. You can't go and say hii nyama imepikwa na mtu makoka majoka sikuli.
No. That can't work. So eventually you find that you have to deal with other different producers, and so there are levels where you can reach, and there are levels you can't cross. There are levels because I've met different producers. I've met producers who lazima avute bangi, yani kwa studio ndio vitu zihappen. I've met producers wenye
Sistemi kapungala.
Yeah. I've met producers wenye madem lazima wako wamejaa hapo ndio vitu zihappen. Unajua? So bro, I've seen things.
I hope you see TV. Well, TV.
Unajua mtu anasemanga ile umeona maneno. I've seen things, bro.
What?
In my close 25 years, I've seen things, because you meet producers very different. In the industry, you meet so many different people. Like
Interesting characters.
very interesting characters. So it's just a matter of you knowing what you can abide to and what you can't, what you can subscribe to and what you can't. Because, you know, there's a line, you know, if I cross this Rubicon, once I cross the Rubicon, I can't come back. So you must be very careful. Who are you dealing with? Who are you relating with? And who are you working with? So it's a choice. Life is just about a choice.
Well, I can imagine you trying to record a gospel song. Na kwa booth uko unaona mademo wana twerk wakifanya producer.
Bro, mi nishaona msanii lazima mademo wanafanya mambo hapo na record.
Others believe hakuna inspiration.
Hakuna inspiration.
I like them shaking. I like them shaking. I love that.
So it's this, because one thing I always say, should I say art or music? Music is very spiritual.
True.
Music is very, very spiritual. And if you're not careful, you'll tap into something that is like nekamba moto. You don't want to tap into a realm that you can't come back. Music is very spiritual. No one should lie to you. Music is very spiritual. Music is not physical as people think. A song is not just a song. Because I've seen artists confessing doing weird things
after a song.
Even when they're recording. I've seen even artists, like I think 2 weeks ago, I was watching a documentary, a very interesting documentary about Bob Marley. And one of the guys, remember they were the Wailers, I think Akina Peter Tosh, Bunny,
the whole crew.
Yeah. So one of the guy was saying when they were young, he didn't know, but he's saying when they were young, one of those guys who was like the executive producer used to take them to a graveyard at night for them to sing. You get? So the guy is like, for him at that time, he thought it's just more of opening up your lungs, your vocals and everything. But now as he's grown older, maybe he's looking at it in a different perspective and different way.
Now there's a revelation and there's an understanding.
And it's a documentary you can go and watch. It's a documentary that was done. It's about Bob Marley's life. It was done by his son, one of his sons. I think it's Ziggy Marley or someone. So it's interesting. Music is very spiritual. People do things. People do crazy things for you to hear a hit song out here. So it's just a matter of who are you subscribing to?
What is the altar that you're submitting to? What is the altar that is your source?
Yes. Why are you pouring your blood, your sacrifice? Where? That's the most important thing.
There's been a lot of cases of mostly gospel ministers, artists who have been approached to, you continue singing for your Jesus, but you're subscribing to us. Over your 25 years, bro, you have seen so much that has happened. Have you ever found yourself in a position whereby a dark world agent has come and approached, like, listen, Owen, this is what we're giving you. We are upgrading your popularity. We upgrading your market reach and fan base in terms of music. We are assuring of 3 or 4 other awards, plus wealth and all these things. But at the end of the day, this is what you need to do for us. Have you ever found yourself in such a situation?
There's something called social conditioning. It's very subtle. It's not the way we hear tunaambiwanga, oh, ati Illuminati walikuja wakakupea pesa. It doesn't happen like that. No, it doesn't happen like that. It's more of, it's very subtle. Because of course even you mtu akuja hapa kufanya kitu kama utashtuka pia utakuwa zile, how come? You get? But the subtle conditioning is even what we see in social media nowadays. It's very subtle. There are things we've started accepting that we couldn't accept even 10 years ago or 5 years ago. It's very subtle, but when we get to 10 years from now, you'll find everything will be accepted and we're like, how did it happen? So it's as easy as, I remember when we went to MTV Mama Awards. So I think, I'm not even sure when those guys were nominating me, they knew I'm a gospel artist. Because Trobina was just a big song and they didn't know. So by the time I was nominated and everything, so when you start writing your profile and everything, maybe that's when they start discovering who you are and all that. And then eventually, every winner of a Mama Award, there was an incentive used to be given after. Because I remember even the previous year before me, it was Amani who won it.
Yes.
And Amani did an album with Fali. There's a project that was done with R. Kelly.
Fali, R. Kelly.
Ali Kiba.
Yes.
You remember? Eh?
Yes.
So the same thing was.
There was an advert for, it was also part of Airtel.
Yes.
Yes, I remember.
So the same thing was, I was to do the same thing the next year now after winning. But I was very, very skeptical, and I was like, I have to stand on my 10 and tell them I can't do it, because I knew how, because when I went to Lagos during Mamas, the things I saw, I knew this is not going to be easy when I'm given that offer. So the offer was like, you go to an American producer, because the previous year was R. Kelly. I think then after that was, I can't remember who it was. So you go to America, and then of course you start recording with all these artists, and you have to do a collab with like every winner. So they were very strict, and they're like, you have to do it. And I was like, for me, I can't do a collab with a secular artist because I'm a gospel artist. And they're like, now you have to do a tour. How will you do a tour when you've not done a song? Because the song was, when you do the song, it was like a Pan-African song. So everyone who is in the song, you have to perform in their capital city, that song. You have to go around and perform in the capital city.
Is it a decision that you made immediately, or you took some time to go and think about it?
When we were there, is when, there are things, I always hear, is it Denzel Washington who normally says, when it gets to midnight, leave the party.
He said that when Diddy's and story Johnson.
Yes.
Diddy parties, when the story came out.
Yes.
I was asked, did you ever attend the Diddy's party? He says, always leave.
Yes. Always leave.
At midnight.
Yes.
I remember
before the devil comes out.
Yes.
So, and it's not a joke. Those things, when you are there, because I remember we had an after party. Yeah, you see, we were there for like 2 weeks, rehearsal and everything, and then the event happened. And then after the event is when now like all the celebrities are like in a place. And you see, in that place, it's more like a trance. Like it's not like a reality place. Because the things that are happening there, everything is so fast. Everything is moving so fast. And during that time is when I was like, When they brought the offer on the table, I was like, that's the life they want me to live. I don't think I can. Because that's not who I am. Even before I got born again, even before I was Daddy Owen, I'm not. Sometimes people confuse you, Ofweneke, just because you are a celebrity and all that. They always think maybe you're outgoing, maybe you are an extrovert.
I wish guys knew.
Yeah. Sometimes we put on a face because of our career. But there are things you look at and you're like, me, I don't like, because even for me, I don't like going for events.
I thought I was alone. I'd rather sleep. I'd rather sleep.
Bro, I don't like going where there's so many people. I don't like. But now, when people see you, just because you're a celebrity, they always feel like, this guy is outgoing. He likes to go to these parties and all that. So for me, when we were there, I just looked at it and I was like, wow. So when Denzel said it, I totally connected and related to. Yeah,
and that line is so spiritual. It's so deep, so spiritual.
Yeah, because I saw it. The awards started at around 4. The awards ended at around 10. The award
Clean
ceremony.
production.
Yeah, the award ceremony. So after that, there was now after party.
Where?
In a private lounge, bro. After party now starts. Guys go in their rooms and then they change and then they come back for the after party. Bro, it was man. I didn't know. So me going there, I'm just
your salvation was.
I'm just like, what is happening here? What is happening? So past that now, everything changes. Now you see all the celebrities, you see them in a different way. Because you see, they have to put on a face when the award ceremony is going on.
Yeah.
But now when it's a private party whereby it's like all the celebrities together and then the entourage and then the associatee of artiste. You know, the associatees of the artiste. So when all of them are, this concussion is happening, you'll see drama. You'll see things you've never seen. You'll see things you never.
So you told them, I'm sorry, but for
no,
this
I told them. No, for that one, it was hard. It was really hard. It was really hard. So I did the contract for Airtel, I think, for 1 year, and then from there I moved to Safaricom.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's rewind time back.
Yeah.
From what I know, on a brim conversation, music is not where OWEN Moate started from.
Yeah.
Was it the influence of your big brother Rafton that put you into it, or deep down you always felt like I'm living this other life, but I feel like deep down there's an artist inside me?
Growing up, all of us knew that we love music because my dad used to own a music shop, a music store in Kakamega town, and my dad loved music. My dad loved music.
I remember how he danced during your wedding.
Yeah, my dad loved music. Like music was. I always feel like he just didn't have a chance, an opportunity to get a studio to go and record, but he loved music. You know the way Miles Monroe always says, the richest place on earth
It's the grave.
is the graveyard. So you always feel like people like my dad are those people who died with so many ideas that they didn't exploit. Because he really loved music. You could tell this guy is a musician. The passion he had, because every now and then, my dad, anytime that he's relaxing, he's just listening to music. Any free time, he's just, after work, he just comes to put on music. When we are in shags, music was like everything. So his influence was so deep in us. His influence was so deep in us. To a level whereby, even when growing up, we used to be very good in mimicking because my bro really loved raga music. So my bro was like more of shabarangs, akina supercat and all that, akina Buju band. Yeah. So my bro was that. And me, I was more of sukus. Me, I loved akina.
Really?
Yeah, me, I loved akina Shimita. I loved sukus stars. I loved Kanda Bongo Man. I loved akina Loketo. Like akina Awilo. So for me, it was more of sukus. I really loved sukus music. I was so into Lingala music. So our influence grew, and even when I was in high school, you could tell I was more in drama, I was in music, I was in cheering squad. You could tell I was always the leader of the cheering squad. So there was something about music in us that you at that time you're very young, you don't know how now you can make it a career. So the best thing that happened is my bro finished from 4 before, meaning like your high school. So when my bro came to Nairobi, he tried as much as possible to explore more avenues about his passion in music. So that's where now he went to studio, he met Kina Teddy Josiah, he met Kina Lucas and all that. So by the time me, Namaza from 4 coming to Nairobi, of course, the thing that is inside you, you could see it in someone who is close to you doing it and making it.
So the frequency brings you closer.
Yes. So the proximity made it alive in me.
Whoa.
Just the proximity made it alive in me. But the talent itself was there and everything was inside there.
When you hear the first time you are somewhere, either in a church, I don't know where you are, either in a church or maybe unasikiza Metro ma KBC at that time, then unasikia Mwehulu. And you're like, that's my big bro. What is the first thing in your mind when you heard Mwehulu?
You know, my bro first, he was a secular artist.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
It started as a secular artist.
Yes, I remember.
With the Kina Red Sun, Kina Nani. So it started as a secular artist. And at that time, it was not as a big deal as now because it was just more of very few artists, everyone trying here and there. And then eventually, the first time I saw him on TV, there was a show called Mizizi by Flavian Mbusi.
Yes.
So when I saw him on TV is when I was like, whoa, now this is big. Now this is it. I felt really nice. I remember going to our school. I was in Chebiusi High School in Kakamega County. And there was after vacation, after the holidays, I went back to school. I think it was January now. And everyone in school who knew my bro was like, we saw your bro, you saw your bro. And I was really excited. I felt like a superstar and I'm not a superstar. It was just more of...
When is your leader?
Yeah, through proximity. Through proximity. So I felt really nice. Because for me, my bro has always, even before becoming a musician, has always been my mentor. My bro has always been that one guy. Because you know how lawyers were very strict with culture. When it comes to culture, your big bro is like your small father.
That's authority.
Yeah, because most of the time the fathers have traveled away to go look for work and money and to make sure that you guys live a good life. So the only authority that you are left with is your big bro.
Your big bro.
Yeah. So my big bro was like my mentor even before music and all that. Yeah. So I used to look up to him a lot.
Man.
Yeah.
Because Mwekulu just took
So by
us.
the time Mwekulu was coming out, I was so sure this guy is destined for greatness. Because I could see his passion. I could see his drive. I could see his purpose. You could tell from how the guy was dedicated. Because you see, those days, the studios were very few. There were very few studios. And the guy used to walk to the studio because most of the studios were very far. At the same time, most of the studios were, you come today, you come tomorrow. You can't, every now and then you can't be asking your dad for money. Because we used to live with our dad now in Umoja. So the guy used to walk all the way to at that time there was a studio in, I think Mombasa Road, Ramkokot. Yeah, Ramkokot. There was a studio there. I think Samawati was in Lavington, and then there was a studio there. I think it was called Audio Vault or something. At that time, Ted Josiah was the producer there. And then after that, Lucas came in.
So more all the way to Mombasa Road.
Yeah.
It's a hit song you're chasing.
Yeah. So by the time he got it, it was now RK is the one who did it. RK at that time, he was in, I think, Queensway House in town. RK had a studio there. It used to be called Shama Boy Studio.
Man.
Yeah.
Let's before you get into music. As you were growing up, how was the family?
My dad had 2 wives. My dad had 2 wives. And for us, as lawyers, for us, it's normal.
It's not a big deal.
I always feel like guys try to portray that thing like a bad. I don't feel like, okay, guys will be like, oh, and you're a Christian. Yeah, I'm a Christian. You need to understand everything. Even there are things which are said in the Bible, it's more of relating to the setup at that moment.
There's culture and the spirituality.
Yes. So people never understand even why lawyers used to marry so many wives. So my dad had 2 wives, but my dad is that guy. When I look back, I always feel like that guy achieved a lot against all odds. Against all odds. My dad never went to school, but I think he did everything that we could even notice or tell. Because the dude, he really worked hard. There are things you can only appreciate your dad when you become a father.
You're like, wait. How did we manage here?
You're like, this dude bought this land when he was 19 years.
Yeah. How?
And you at 19, you're still there, moving around with Kina Jennifer and
Shisha.
This dude bought this land when he was 19 years.
Yeah.
Because when I was trying to trace back his years, and I'm like, all these things this guy achieved before he was 25 years. So many things. So my dad comes from an area called Butsotso. My dad is Mtsotso. You know, we have so many sub-tribes. We have like 21 or 18. We're still debating about that. But there are so many sub-tribes, and there's one called Abatsotso. So I'm Mtsotso from Kakamega. So my dad, of course, grew up there. And then by the time he didn't go to school, and then by the time he figured around maybe 15, 16, he moved to Nairobi for greener pastures. And then he started working for Indians in parklands and all that. And then through the process where they met my mom, and then all of us who were conceived, and then he met another wife, conceived other kids. And all of us, now we grew up in Kakamega. And life was good. I can only say, you can only discover that maybe you come from a humble background after being exposed to other people.
That's what I've been thinking.
Yeah, but when we were there, life was good.
You don't know you're poor until you meet rich people.
Yeah.
But until you meet them, this is it.
Yeah, this is it. This is it, man. For me, life was good. Life was really good. Life was really good because me,
I'm not born it.
Yeah. I always say, I can't say we lacked. But you see, what what at that time people maybe felt like it was a poor man's food is what everyone is being told nowadays to eat. But those are the things that we grew up on. Amaponi, emioko, that's what we grew up. And my dad really worked hard to make sure that even if we didn't go to school, he made sure that all of us went to school, all of us went to campus, colleges and all that. So we tried. He really tried because, try to imagine doing things that you don't know any better. You see, it's easy for you right now to guide your kids because you've traveled further and there are things that are so important for your kids because you've experienced them. But imagine your dad is pushing you guys to go to school and he never went to school. But he's so passionate to work so hard to make sure that
selflessness.
You guys have to go to school. All of you. You have to go to school. So that's where I grew up in Kakamega, like half of my life. And then I just came to Nairobi after Form 4, which is normally...
Was that your first time?
Yeah, that's my first time.
Form 4?
Yeah.
So all kuna two homeboys na Tofik zinaingia zikipe.
No, Nairobi was like how we hear people talking about Australia. Bro, Nairobi. Mawingo. We don't get about homeboys. Mawingo. In the era of Mawingo. Bro, going to Nairobi was not going to Nairobi.
It's a prayer.
And it was, there were very few people who used to work in Nairobi. One of them was my dad. So looking at it, you're like, it was so, we were so privileged even after Form 4 coming to Nairobi. We were so privileged.
So let me ask, when you boarded that bus coming to Nairobi for your first time, what is your expectation of where dad lives? Because mnakuja kwake, si ndio?
Yeah.
Expectation ya penye mzayane ishi ni wapi? Because hakuna picha, hakuna Instagram, hakuna Facebook.
Those days it was more of I'm just in Nairobi. Unajua Mluya hata kama kukangemi ako wapi, Mluya bora kwa Nairobi. Life itaanzia hapo, bro. It doesn't matter, man. For us it's just more of, because you see, and this is what I always try to say. Sometimes people want to use cultures to demean others. But Luyas are always people who are always contented with what they have. So to others, it may look like, wakwangi ambitious. No. You see, someone once told me, the reason why the white people had to travel to Africa and look for more land is because their area, their environment, the conditions were really bad for them to travel far away to go to look for a better condition. Because you see, places like Europe those days, the cold was bad. You understand? Everything was just bad. Their land and all these things, they are not conducive for so many things. So they had to travel. But an African, why should I travel?
It's here.
Everything is just within my 100 meters. Everything I want. Everything is in the forest. Everything is in the ground. I breathe fresh air. Everything is on the trees. Why should I go far? Why should I overwork myself? So that's the same thing. Our conditioning as Luya, it's more of our energy is on our strength. How we were built. Even if you look at
physicality,
at our features, it's more of toil the land, plant, then harvest, and you're fine. But you see, there are people who are like, Waluya wakwangi ambitious. Man, you need to go back and read history. Why we have very different cultures.
Understand who
and understand
we are
why.
as people.
When you're contented is more of whatever is within me, whatever I can harvest today, and God has blessed me with it, I'll appreciate. And I'm fine with it. You go ahead and say, I'm not ambitious. It's
well and good for you.
Well and good for you. We are here for different purposes on earth. So that's the difference. When I was coming to Nairobi, for me, it's just more of, I'm in Nairobi.
Buddha niko hapa.
Niko Nairobi. So I boarded the bus, found my dad.
How much was it?
Can't even remember, bro. Can't even remember. I think I came with a kamba.
Hey.
I think I came with a kamba. And when I came to Nairobi, my dad was living in Umoja. Yeah, at that time he was living in Umoja too. And life was fine, man. Life was fine. It's only right now, maybe you look back because God has really blessed you and you've lived in different areas of this part of Nairobi. That's when you look back and you're like, oh, Umoja was a bit. But now, to be honest, for me, I was in Nairobi. It doesn't matter.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
So what is the dream? What is the dream? You're now in Nairobi. What is it? Because I'm pretty sure this music thing is still not clear.
Yeah, it is not clear
as an idea.
Yes.
So Owen umefika naye umekuja kudu nini Nairobi?
I wanted to be a footballer. I knew, man, maisha yangu ni mpira. I knew hapo kwa mpira.
Yeah.
Ndo ndapenyea.
Amunijui.
Yeah, amunijui. Because I was very good in sports when I was in high school. So I knew, because you see, every generation has a trending thing. There was a generation whereby ukimaza form 4 ulikuwa unaingia IAT kufanya computer, because remember computer ndo maisha yote. Packages. Like
Excel.
You understand? So every generation had something that defined them. You see, like right now, every kid just needs a phone. They believe they can become YouTubers,
streamers and all those
influencers
things.
Because every generation has something that is popping at that moment. So for us at that time, it was more of football was doing really well, and it was not like doing well, come to think of it, but it was more of something that you feel like you can put in your energy and achieve it, because you've played it. It's something you understand. You don't need calculations. You don't need capital to start. Yeah, because your dad at that time doesn't
the
have
skills
a
and the dreams.
Yeah, so you just use, like the same way Moses had a rod in his hand. That whatever you have in your hand is what you're going to use. So you're like, for me, what I have is my skills, and I'll try and use my skills to do everything that I feel I can achieve.
Did you play?
No, I came to Nairobi. Umoja was very complicated. There were no grounds. There was no team. There were no grounds. There was no team. And then you have to go to Jericho. When you go to Jerry, it was just so complicated. There's so many teams. And then you're like, it's not working. It's not working. It's not working. Then you try to change. At that time, Sprite was doing a lot with the NBA basketball, and all that. You try play basketball, but everything is so inconsistent. There's no team. There's not. It's just a hobby whereby you feel like you just want to go sweat and go back home. But there was nothing like a professional thing going on.
Are you discouraged at any point that I'm not getting what I want?
No. At that time, I was not discouraged because I didn't know any better. The most important thing at that time, you see, you're 18 years. Yeah, for you, just making friends, enjoying life, and moving on.
That's it.
Yeah. So you're not over ambitious of things, because you always just felt like things will work out, but you don't know how. You don't have like a textbook answer to it, but you know things will work out.
Things will work out.
Yeah.
Careers, even in terms of football, are you even thinking about school, college, university? Ama mzaya sakwambia form 4 sasa asapa pigana.
No. After that, you see now, I wasted a lot of, because I don't know what used to happen those days. It's like you used to maliza form 4 like this, and then results because na kasi how many months.
That's 3-4 months.
Results because na kasi when
we can only appear invigilators while na holiday examiner.
So results because na kawia, and then there was just a narrative that you have to stay home 1 year before you decide to go back to
what
school.
To do, yeah.
So that 1 year, most of the time in Shags, it was now unasaidia wazazi kuharvest and all those things. So the 1 year, for me, I was just lounging around, meeting the wrong people. Then after that 1 year is when I went to college. Yeah. But now that 1 year, it was just, I don't understand. Because if I look back, like all of us went through that 1 year of just lounging, doing nothing. Like, it was just a narrative that was there.
Moya kwa metro story NYS.
No, it was there, but it was more of kulikuwa na ukora fulani upande wa NYS pia. Haiko kitu rahisi hivyo unafikiria. The recruitment was not that easy, man. It was not that easy.
But if you found a way of how to get into it, would you have?
Looking back now, I would.
Why?
I think there's a period for you as a man, as a young man or a young boy, you need some sort of streamlining and high level of discipline. If you're not careful, you end up losing yourself. If you don't have like a serious self-control, you'll end up losing yourself.
Is there a part in your life, Owen, that you felt like Now you look back, you're like, where? Life gave me a second chance.
Yeah, of course. After that period, I'm talking about the 1 year that I was lounging, doing nothing. Of course, you have your intrusive thoughts. Of course, you're trying to exploit everything. In short, you're just trying to fly too close to the sun. And of course, the glue will melt and the feathers will fall off. So that's what really happened, because eventually now you wake up in the morning, you have nothing to do. You just wake up, watch Tom and Jerry, you watch Johnny Bravo, you watch TV Neighbors. There's nothing happening. Of course, now after that, you go outside. Those are Mapoloti. In their Poloti, now you meet the boys again, kuna mawe hapo mmekaa, doing nothing. So each and every day, as you have conversations, there's nothing constructive you guys are talking about. Eventually, you result in doing things that, because you see, as a man, you always feel like there's a space for you. If you notice, even shule, wala solwanga na balasi na walwanga fast body kupigana. Sisi kama unanielewa. Unajua ni ngumi ilikuwa
Mbona baadhi manambalazi madanda walikuwa wamejaa mwili. I never understood that.
You know, everyone must have their own space. You have to fight for it. Masomo ikulemea bro, wewe pigana na wengine after shule. So
Kafunga na wewe.
Ndio utafunga na wewe. So most of the time mafast body walikuwa wachafu, walikuwa wameshona, walikuwa tu madanda, au walikuwa na balance.
Na kijiko kwa mfuko.
Ndio hiyo. Akitoza mfai kucheka. Ukicheka atafunga na wewe, you know. You know those things. So every human being, mostly men, you always feel like there's a space for you.
There must be a space.
There must be a space for you. That's why you see their goons. Goons feel like they're close to power. In reality, they are very far from power. But they always feel like they're close to power. They'll always tell you about, they'll devote themselves to a person to a level they can even kill you. And it's just a politician.
I feel like goonism is a cult.
That's what I'm saying.
You're never in control. It's this unexplained.
But you see, what is a cult? You see, a cult is whereby everyone is just trying to find themselves. And because human beings, we are social beings. So we like groupings. So there must be something that defines
our strength is in association.
Yeah. So there must be something that brought us together.
A common value.
An association. So that's the same thing. So goons, you'll find someone will be devoted to a politician to a level of like, what? Yeah. And you see, that goon mambiata name anything about the constitution or anything about the budget. They don't know. They just want to know, amesemaje, nani amesemaje, tutafanya hivyo. So that's the same thing. As a young person, you always feel like you want to belong. Unfortunately, that moment you're trying to find yourself where you really belong, you might fall into wrong hands. And that's what happened to me, because most of the time now, the only superheroes you're seeing in the estate, now in Umoja and in Eastlands, mostly were Makangas. And these Makangas, you look at them, keenly you'll find, even in Makangas, in their groupings, there are others who are cleaner than the others. There are others who are sophisticated than the others.
Kuna Makanga number 1, 2.
Unaelewa. So these who are sophisticated, if you look at their lives, sometimes, maybe nowadays things have changed, but mostly those days, you'll discover they're not only depending on pesa ya matatu. You get? They have other things they're doing. So being in the matatus, ama being a Makanga is just a camouflage of the other life that they're living. So these are the people that you mingle with every day. You are always with them in the evening, during the day, because you have nothing to do. You have too much time in your hands. You have nothing to do. You're a young man. You're still energetic. Testosterone is nakimbia. Very energetic. So you meet them and they're like, niaje, uko aje? But I knew I don't want to be a Makanga. That I knew. That I knew I didn't want to be a Makanga.
At least I tried it.
No, me that I knew. It was just more of, we were hanging out with them most of the time. So everyone knew in the estate, but it was not like I wanted to be a Makanga. I was like, I want more. what is these guys akina Moha? Mbona akina Moha wanapiga hizi kicks deadly na hizi label deadly? How? So when you meet kina Moha and then that's telling you what they do, you always feel like, it's easy. And that's what I'll say, when it comes to conditioning, it's as easy as, ona hiyo label umse, ona hiyo kofia umse, tuchukue. Tunachukua.
And that's how it started.
That's how it starts. And then it morphs to something. Hiyo kofia mmechukua mmeenda mauza mali, so mko so ni kidogo. Mtagawanaje? Mnagawana mbao. You're like, ai.
Hadi kofia 3.
You get? So it morphs. It spirals. It snowballs to something bigger. It never starts like at, hey. No. It's just something small. And then it spirals to something bigger. So unfortunately, you're very young and naive. For me, the most stupid thing was I was very naive. Because at that time, I'm still using core. Haijaisha, msaidieko, niambieko, naendako. So, I mean, Nairobi, but I'm still using the core. Core bembelezi.
Core bembelezi. Pendeko.
You get? So, for them, it's so easy to pick out. They're like, unifala ocha.
Tushtua.
Ufala ocha cha tumtume. Ufala ocha acha enda afanye hii. Ufala ocha enda afanye hii. Because, you see, for you now, you have to prove yourself. Because, you didn't grow up in this setup. So you feel like you have to overcompensate.
You must fight for acceptance.
You have to overcompensate on things. The moment you have deficiency on something, you have to overcompensate on the other side. So I had to overcompensate to show that I'm courageous, I'm confident, So that's the problem. Because now, for them, they know. Picking on you is so easy because of your accent. They just pick on you and they're like, unifala ocha. Ndamiingia na mbukinya. You understand? So those are things that really costed me. And eventually, of course, you are in a gang. It's really hard. Looking back right now is when you feel like you are in a gang.
You didn't know.
No, you don't. You don't. It's like most of those goons, most of them, hiyo jina masangwenya, wanasikia tu mkisema.
For you two brothers.
Wanasikia tu mkisema. But for them, they just feel like, asini mahomboys, tuko tu mtaani, wera ikilia, tutakimbia, tutapiga na turudi home.
Damn.
So looking back is when you realize, that was not right. That was wrong. Because for you, it's like, kofia too. Watch too. Nini. It's as simple as that. But eventually, it now leads you to a direction whereby you always feel like there's something called hedonic treadmill. Is whereby the excitement, you always look for the next high. Once you get it, you always feel like, once I get this one, mi nikipata hii, nitatulia. Yes, nitatulia. But it's never like that. It's like social media nowadays. There's the real thing, the real example of hedonic treadmill is the social media nowadays. You always feel like, wacha ni post hii photo, itanasa. And then inapiga 10,000 views. Unajua, unasikia vizuri. But when you wake up in the morning again, you feel like, hey, then nimerudi zero. I need to work hard again. So you're always on that treadmill. So that's the same thing. When you're in that life, you always feel like, nikichukua hii kikombe, ndachana hii life. But it's never enough.
Hakuna time imeanza kuklikwa kili by the naenda barabara mbaya.
It does. You see, unfortunately, kuna wale wenye wanajuanga, nishaenda hiyo barabara, I'm at a point of no return. But kuna wengine wanajuanga, if I cross this bridge, that's it. So most of the time, and you know it, you always know it. You can't say you cross that bridge without knowing. You know it. So before crossing it, you're always like, I don't think I'll go past this. I don't think I'll go past this. I don't think so.
When do you see death in your face?
In Umoja those days, or in Nairobi those days, nika wizi ilikuwa mingi, because every now and then you could hear mtu amechomwa mahali. Those days nilikuanga siku za kuweka taya. Nowadays those things don't exist.
Human rights.
Yes, those days ilikuanga, once you're a suspect, wacha hata wewe ni mwizi. Once you're a suspect, it was, you have to pick your poison. Either 9x9 or tire. And then there's a moment now they started introducing nylon. Nylon was bad.
It's even more painful.
And nylon was bad. So I once saw a friend of mine akichomwa na nylon. I think that's when you know this thing
It's
is
getting
real.
closer.
This is real. This is real.
Is this how you end up saved? Born again? Is this how you end up getting born again?
There's a guy called Hariji. Hariji used to preach to me, bana, like daily. You know, someone who's very persistent. And you ignore him for like 3-4 years. And he's always like,
Wachanga stories zako za sagodi pia.
bro, ndo umeleta tu dem kwa keja bana. Hariji amefika.
Nimeona juzi TikTok akihubiri shule ya
Umeona?
Were you guys living together?
Yeah. Hariji must say, God bless you. This guy, man, Hariji has done this thing for years, bana. Hey, Hariji. And he's always been consistent. Hariji, man, nilikuwa nimetafuta dem kwa keja hivi. Hariji anatokea mahali from nowhere. Like, kwani mzee ananinusa? Kwani mzee ananusa? Sasa mnataka kufanya nini? Hariji ananiuliza. Asa, Owen, sasa huyu dem, venye umemleta hapa. Mnataka kufanya nini? And you're like, what? Unajua, bro, hata saa hii kinaisha. Nini mnataka kufanya? Hicho kitendo, hicho kitendo ambacho mnabania kufanya.
Every nigga needs a Hariji in their life.
Hicho kitendo ni usinzi.
It's even worse in Swahili.
Bro, akona Bible kwa koti. Kidogo ameshatoa. Hey, you're like, mazi bro.
Nema alikuja kucollect strokes.
Unaambia bro.
Anataka amecollect what?
Unaambia bro, situongea hapa nje kidogo. Unaambia, tuongele tu hapa. Tuongele tu hapa. Nataka udema asikie. Sema jona. You know those days, it's not like now. Those days, even finding a guy with a house, it was not a joke. You know, unakuanga na madem lakini una keja. Because nyinyi wote hakuna mnakona hao. Sasa mkipata hao moja mnaishi wamekaa 10. Sasa umepanga wase wameshaishi hata hao kila mtu ana shughuli yake.
Hariji.
Wewe una dem bana, unajua leo hakuna mtu kwa keja. Hariji anatokea man. Sasa mnataka kufanya nini? Hebu niambieni. Simfanye kama niko hapa. And then anatoa Bible bro. Akishatoa Bible hivi. Wewe unasahau bro. Testosterone zinatoka through the window.
Ikili kufanyia baraka.
Hariji. Wachana Hariji bro. That guy, I've never seen anyone who's very persistent about something like that. Because I always thank him because bro, me, I don't think any guy is a vika. Hariji was persistent. Like seriously persistent. Kumbe unajua Hariji?
Ndio. Sio kwa best man wako pia kwa Edo.
Awaraf.
Oh, but they Williams both weddings.
Bro, nakwambia ilikuwa ajabu. Mimi naangalia hivi nashindwa. Umse. But now, those are the people that made me realize that I need to change my life. Because you see, it's very close to, someone, a foreigner telling you about salvation sometimes is really hard because they don't know exactly. But someone like Hariji just talk to you because he knows your life each and every day. So it's like, whatever you're doing is wrong. Don't do this. Do this. Salvation is not hard. Hey! Hariji. And then one day I decided and I was like, this is it. This is it.
What was your last thought in your mind before you're like, you know what? Let's give our life to Christ.
I lost my eye. When I lost my eye, my bro is the only person who came to the hospital to see me. And my bro was like, now where are your friends? And those things, to be honest, is so real. Sometimes when you're in that deep, most of your friends disappear. So that's when I was like, my bro had a very long talk with me. It was very deep. I'll never forget it. He was like, you have to reflect upon your life. You have to ask yourself so many questions. You don't come from a rich family. You have to work so hard to become. You have to change your ways of it. So it's more of like my bro planted the seed, REG watered, all those things. And it happened.
Is there anyone who you're together in that clique who either got saved as well?
Yeah, there are so many people. There are people who, because weirdly, I was very ambitious and I had to come out of that setup. But most of the guys, I left them in the setup.
Are they alive?
Some are, some. One used to work at Get Radio. He's a well-known guy.
Hakuwa na RG.
Hakupata RG. Maybe anapata RG wake. But that's how life is. That's how life is. And I appreciate people like RG. Thank you so much, RG.
Which is your first song? After now you've gotten saved.
There's a day my bro was working on his album. Mwikulu album. So he was like, Nipeleka studio, there's a project I want to, I'm finishing my album. So when we got there, he was to write his last verse to a song called By My Side. So he had two verses. I had one verse, and then there's another chick doing a verse, and then the last verse was his. But alifika mahali akafeel tu, hey, mind him a block. And then RK weirdly was like, Owen, nimesikia ukisaidia bro yako hapa hii verse ya kwanza mkitengeneza. So uweke tu verse. That's how nileka verse. Excuse me, kwa hiyo song. Eka verse. After that, RK was like, you need to focus on music.
There's something here.
So, when you're releasing an album, on the cover, you have to write all the featurings and all that. So RK called me. He was like, so what name should we put? I told him, put Street Doctor. so Street Doctor was my first name. Yeah, Street Doctor was my first name. I used to be known as Street Doctor. Daktari wa mitaa. I used to be known as Street Doctor. So if you go on the album, Rafton's album cover, Mwikulu, you'll see the last song there is Rafton featuring Rhoda and Street Doctor. I'm the Street Doctor, bro. What you saying, bro?
Street Doctor toke hapo.
Hata shema nyereta bado sijui. And that's how it came about. I don't know. I just like, hey, wake up, Street Doctor. And then guys started calling me Street Doctor, and I was like, it's not working. This is not it.
At
that time, Raf, because Raf was not, RK was the one who was producing the album and doing the production and even the covers, the copies and all that. So he was not so involved when it comes to that. So that year, aliondoka isha print hiyo. Alandu Street Doctor ni nani? Nikamwambia ni isiye ni mimi.
Until?
So after that is when now I was like, I want to venture into music. And then eventually I met now a guy called Mr. Googs. Mr. Googs and another guy called Ambassador. So we recorded my first song called Haijalishi. That is 2002.
Haijalishi.
No matter you are black or white.
Haijalishi.
No matter you are poor or rich.
Haijalishi.
No matter when jali haudim. Lakini mbele ya Mungu sisi wote tuko same.
Haya.
Them days, man.
Jay-Z, forgive us. You can skip ad. Oh my goodness.
Them days, man. Them days.
Googs alikuwa shoko at that time.
No. It was very interesting. It was one of the biggest challenge I had at that time. It was Googs. There's a guy called Mike. Mike is the owner of Sakata. So Mike used to work with the Lucas. They were together in, Ogopa. Lucas was in Pakistan for studies. And he was there with a guy called Mike. So when they came back, they started working together at Ogopa. But Mike got born again. So Mike was like, the environment was not conducive for him. So he was like, I want to start my own thing, but that will only focus on gospel. So Mike met SK Blue. And I think I introduced Mike to SK Blue. So SK Blue alikuwa punk. Alikuwa anatoka Burufi's 5. So hiyo time alikuwa punk mbaya. So SK Blue had some to chums here and there. Wanaweza afford to buy computer. So they bought a computer. But now, kuna vitu wako wanaweza afford. Googs akabuy hizo vitu wako wanaweza afford. Speaker na manini, monitors and everything. So Googs was like, now you guys should bring the studio to my house. So Googs at that time, he used to live in Umoja. So by the time we were making the track for Ijalishi, Googs were like, hey, I must put a verse here. So unajua bosi akisha sema utapingana aje. And I was like, Googs, for me, Googs was, at that time, I was very tight with Googs. Very, very tight. He was my very, 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 very good friend.
Those of you who don't know Mr. Googs is the one who did Noah say to Matuka, get the right.
Get the right.
Hey! And that song is still a hit song until today, man.
So Googs was my very, very good friend. And we were like, let's do it. The Three Musketeers, me, Googs, and Ambassador. Ambassador was from Uganda. Yeah.
It was never later on I did a song with Ambassador as well, Kanye.
Yeah.
We're still boys until today.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah. So
Jalish is out.
Yeah, that's my first song. I remember the first time I heard it on radio. Nilikuwa nimetoka kupanda matatu. Nimeshuka kwa stage hapo Umo. Nikaisikia kwa shop inaimba. Bro nilisema kwa hiyo shop tu nisikie tu mziki yangu inaimba kwa radio. John Karani, I'll never forget you. Big up John Karani. He's the first guy I'll never mainstream media. He's the first guy who believed in me na kaeka ngoma yangu kwa mainstream media. I'll never forget it, man. I'll never forget that day.
Damn.
Yeah. I'll never forget that day.
Same Zayana Simanidi. Because one, you're almost losing your life. He doesn't come to see you. He's pissed off, I can imagine, as a father.
Yeah. At that time, looking back, I always feel like we used to really disappoint our parents. Because they used to work really hard for us to achieve something in life. Then you're here playing around with it. And he was not for the music.
For you or even for Raf?
Even for Raf. Because, and I understand him. It's like right now, mtu yeye akwambia anda kufanya sijui vitu wewe hata uelewi. Akwambia tikari yake anda kwa streamer. Unajua, so many parents, so the streaming watu wameanza ku understand after I Show Speed. But before I Show Speed, I don't think any parent mtu yake ameenda kwa
I actually didn't know what streaming is. I thought it like streaming because we're in production. That's what I thought. I was like, okay, mtu yeye ana run company production na ku stream events.
But you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So, talking about music then, that's how it sounded. You're telling your dad, I want to become a musician. They're like, what are you talking about?
Choma.
Are you even normal? So eventually, I think after my first song, my dad akanipeleka Kole sasa.
After Ijalishi?
I think I before Ijalishi. So at least nilikosa Kole. Niko Kole. Nauza nguo mtindwa. I'm just trying to restructure and become a decent person.
Kole nya tulimaliza. Muliona.
Kole nilimaliza.
Na ukaache.
Tulikuwa hapo air travel and related studies. Tulikuwa tunafanya traveling. Ticketing and traveling.
Ati hiyo saa 9 unaje penye iko?
Bro, hata sina idea. But it was a good time. It was a good time.
How does the industry look like at this time when you're getting in? How does it look like? Because now there's you, there's Danko.
There was no industry. It was just young people who are just vibing, just want to enjoy themselves and just want to push things to happen. At that time, there was no industry. The moment the industry came in is when now the biggest challenge we had was to distribute our songs for radio stations to play our songs. Because the radios were not playing our songs. They didn't know where to place us. Because you see, Capital was known for playing more foreign songs.
Yeah.
It was only a few Kina Isa, Red Sun, who had like few slots here and there for local to be played. Or Kina Eriko Enaina now, Kina Bourgeois, Kina Eriko Enaina and all that. But now, sisi watu wa mtaa, ghetto, all those things, and then you combine with your gospel. It was really hard because gospel at that time was known to be the Kasangas.
The Kasangas and the Mwauras.
Yes.
Maria Tieno.
Yes. So, if you're not doing that.
So there was only one voice that was identified by gospel music.
Yeah.
Kasangas, Mwauras, and Maria Tieno.
Akina Kianda were big. Yeah, those were big. They were big.
So if it doesn't sound like them,
if it doesn't sound like that,
it's not gospel.
Then it's not gospel. So everyone is just like, these young people they don't know what they're doing. They're just young. They are stupid. They want to change the gospel. They want to. So we face a lot of resistance from the church and even the mainstream media. And you see, at that time we were bitter. But looking back, I always feel like they didn't know any better. Because imagine you're a radio presenter and then someone brings you a song, and you know there are some type of songs that needs to be played on the radio, or there are categories or there are genres that can identify with your audience and your listeners. And then this guy is just bringing a song that you don't even understand. How? Because guys were like, on which segment do you want us to play a song?
Because I'm imagine as a programs controller or a music controller on Capital, where do I place Casabuendo? Where do I put Casabuendo? Where? Because it's either you go to Sing and Shine, those Joy Bringers and Sing and Shine. Which is once a Sunday.
Yeah. And those Joy Bringers and Sing and Shine, now they can't listen to you because your songs are so upbeat. They can't. And then Capital, they can't listen, they can't play you because you're gospel. So from there is when I started, we had like a collective meeting. We called for a kamkutano. CC, like a few of us, me, Rafton, SK Blue, Porcupine, Harry G, Ambassador, DJ Josh, DJ Kev. We came together and started calling ourselves Kambi Cristo. And Kambi Cristo, the aim was, because remember we went to Capital and then someone told us, for a solution, to create a solution for you guys, is either a show should be created for you guys on Sundays. But now, a show is like 2 hours, 3 hours. You guys don't even have songs that can be played for 30 minutes.
Jehovah.
So how can we create a show for you? So guys, we were like, oh, okay. We're listening to you guys. So we went and now started our own studio called Sakata. And the idea was, everyone should record an album. All of you should have 10 songs.
Nice.
So all of us had an album.
The opportunity is here.
Yes. Because everyone was complaining, we don't have a playlist to play for 30 minutes for gospel music. So we were like, okay, let's create a playlist. So all of us, we were like 10 people, kila mtu, ngoma kumi kumi, hizo ni ngoma 100. So, what next? Guys were still, we went back to Capital. Capital was like everything in those days. Capital were like, nah, we are not sure unless. So someone now mentioned something in a meeting. Unless we get so much requests for you guys. Because we're not getting any requests from you guys. Then we went back to the drawing board. We were like, what do we do? And then we were like, okay, this is the solution. Let's go to high schools. Let's start doing missions in high school. Because those days, schools will only allow pastors. So we had to attach ourselves to pastors. While the pastor is still preparing his Bible before he starts preaching, you go on stage and start performing. So we went to schools. And while we were in the high schools, we used to talk to the young people and give them Capital FM's phone number, and tell them, when you go home during the holidays, August holiday,
Request for this song.
Make sure you request for this song. So the day, those guys received so many calls. And they were like, who is this Daddy Owen? So they called me for a meeting. I went there and I told them, this song that everyone is requesting, I brought it here like 6 months ago. You have it. They didn't know it was planned. So many people don't understand the gospel industry. At that time, everything was planned. It didn't just happen. We used to have meetings sitting down and deciding this is the next move. And that's how now shows started happening on KBC, NTV. Like the pressure now started building up. And it's reached at a point now, like every radio station, every TV station must have a gospel segment. Because now the gospel urban music was just... And we knew when we go to schools, we can create that social conditioning. Whereby these kids, make sure you feed them this kind of music for them to know this is the music. Wow. Because they were fed other songs, and you can't blame anyone, because when there's lack of availability of something, of course, scarcity is created and no one knows you exist. If you didn't see it, it didn't happen. And that's how we built the gospel industry.
I love that whole strategy.
Yeah. And you see, Kambi Kristo was like a prayer group. It was not like artist group. It was a prayer group that we converted to become like a strategy group. But it was a prayer group. We used to meet every, like, I think Mondays. We used to fast every Monday. So we meet in the evening for prayers. And then eventually we started now, all those things. Through stories, hey, capital nimeambiwa haiwezi, nikarudi hivyo. And then you strategize. Pray, strategize. Pray, strategize. And that's how we built the industry.
Nice. You of all the top gospel artists, your songs are still a hit until today. Systema Kapungala plays somewhere, guys are up. Kirefu plays somewhere, guys are up. Vanity plays, Vanity still carries the same vibe until today. What was your secret behind collaborations?
One thing I knew is you can only collaborate with someone that you carry the same synergy. For me, others is different. Everyone has... I watched a documentary whereby Dr. Dre was asked one day, why have you never recorded a song with Michael Jackson? And he said, for him, music is more... It's not just artists meeting and doing something. It's more of the friendship behind it, knowing each other. The force behind it must be the connection. In fact, he gave a very interesting example. He said, I need to work with someone whom we can go to Starbucks and have coffee and come back to the studio. You see, with MJ now, that is impossible.
No, you can't. That is impossible.
Yeah. So sometimes it's more of, we were like brothers. We grew up in the same church with the Kinadanko, and it was so easy at that time. So it's just one or two outliers here and there that now you introduce Kina Alan Aaron and all that. But I used to say, before I do a collab with you, I must know this song, my target is maybe this generation. And then if I bring you on board, you'll bring me a different... You see, like right now, there are alliances in politics. Music collaboration should work like that. I always say, sometimes it's very useless for a collabo for you guys to come from the same... It's like you guys come from same community and you're saying you're collaborating.
Can't.
In politics. So even in music, I always say, if you appeal to the same crowd, you don't need to do a collab. You can only do a collab with someone who comes from a very different
generation or crowd.
Yeah, from yours. Because if you listen to Saluti, I tried as much as possible.
You're really balanced.
Yes.
Masha from Coastal, Amy from Rift.
Yes. Kambua from Eastern.
From Eastern.
Yeah. Nanji from Western. Jackie Kotira from Nyanza. Esther Ome from Central.
Mountain.
Yes. So you have to make sure, and then I had to force them to sing in their native language. So collaboration must make sense. It's just not bringing someone on board. That's why I always felt me and Raf could never do a collab.
Yeah, because I feel apart from
One Dem.
Nimetambua.
Hey. But you see, those are songs that,
of course, was
so many people. It's not like at me and Raf.
It was you, Pastor the late Ben Bahati.
Yeah. Because I always feel like a collabo there must be something why you're doing it. You just don't do a collabo because, and you see with Danko, it was so easy because he was very good with hooks and he was very good with melodies, because I feel like melodies are things that carry the day. If you compare Kenyan music and Tanzanian music is heavy on melodies. That's why people say, hey, bongo ndirahisi kuimba, bongo, because for them, they focus on melody. Kenyans will focus on hype. But Tanzanians focus on melody. For them, the melody comes first before the idea, before the song, before the words.
Specifically, what was the story behind Tobina?
Tobina is very interesting. Tobina is a very interesting song. I always wonder how Tobina became big. I went to Eldoret to record an album. So while I was recording the album, I wanted Kapungala for me was like everything, because I had tried to do that song with like 3 different producers and no one was hacking it. But Dr. Eddie understood exactly what I wanted, because I wanted a song that I grew up listening to Lingala. And I wanted a song that is reflecting on the direction of the songs that I'm doing. So Kapungala is just a mixture of Kapuka and Lingala. So I wanted a song that starts with Kapuka and ends with Lingala. So you see, the problem is the connector in between, the BPM will be very different.
Yeah.
Because Lingala will be very fast, Kapuka will be a bit slower. So finding a producer who can merge the two, it was really hard. But Dr. Eddie understood. He knew that in between he has to put a break so that it transits to. So when it's transposing to Lingala, I'm in my element. So after we did that, everyone was like amazed by that last part of Kapungala. And they were like, this Lingala route, Eddie, this is the route that you need to follow. So I went and I played Eddie a song, because I used to listen to, there's a genre in West Africa called Coupé de Calais. I used to listen to a lot of Coupé de Calais songs. So there's a song called Allergy. Yeah. So that song was big at that time. So that song led me to listen to more of West African songs. And then there's a friend of mine who used to come from Togo, another one come from Ivory Coast. So I did a lot of research.
Which is the type of music?
Yeah, because that's what they listen to.
More like to fans.
Yeah, to fun. Yes. So I asked them so many questions. What does it mean? Because for me, it's more of research. I love research. So they told me of course, they were arguing the same way the Nigerians and Ghanaians are still arguing about the rice.
Jollof.
Yeah. So they were arguing. Some say it comes from Benin, others say it comes from Burkina Faso, others say it comes from Cote d'Ivoire. And eventually I was like, I want to do something like that. But it was really hard because Coupé de Calais is full of percussion. And the percussion that those guys make, it's live percussion. It's not like, you can't computerize those percussions. You can't make them from a computer. It's really hard. It's like next to impossible. It's like Lingala. Lingala making it from computer is really hard. People make it even using a computer, but they have to add like a real snare,
even
a lot
the
of
guitar
elements.
and everything.
Yes, everything. A lot of elements. So Coupé de Calais was like, hey, let's try with Dr. Eddie. So we tried, and it was not sounding the way I wanted. And I'm like, we need to change the bass line. We changed the bass line. We changed everything. And I was like, this thing is not working the way I want. So I went to sleep. I left Dr. Eddie, Kera, in the studio. So Kera was like, no, this beat is just the beat, man. This is it. So waking up in the morning, I found Kera had laid so many examples. And I was like, oh, now this thing is coming. But all his elements were very technical. You know, the worst thing about, we always fight with singers. The worst thing about singers, they can put so many melodies in a song. It was full of those things. And I was like, no. Let's scrap it off. Let's make it afresh. So I came up with the idea of everything, what we need to write, what direction we need to go, the arrangement and everything. And then at that time, I'd finished my album. Because I wanted my album to have 10 songs. So I had my 10 songs locked in. So while we were finishing, guys are like, me, I'm not in a hurry. Guys are like, so we record this song. Me, I'm not in a hurry. I'm just like, I already have my 10 songs. So guys are like, record tu kwa bonus kwa album. So Tobina, by the way, we did like, it was just an add-on. It was just a bonus track.
So it was not part of the original list.
No. It was not. Interestingly, when I was distributing my songs, because you see those days, the first thing you do, you take your song to radio presenters and DJs to listen first, if the song makes sense. And then you tell them, I have 3 songs, pick one that you think I can release as a single. So at that time, there was a radio station called Power Radio. And Power Radio ilikuwa kina Moz and Njugush. It was at Homeboys, but Kubama walikuwa na run. So I met Njugush in town. Njugush had his laptop. So he could only listen, because those days ulikuwa bado na CD, unaweka CD kwa laptop, and then. So I played him the song. But you remember those days, there are some laptops that were weird. Once you put a CD, it has to read and repeat.
In fact, I'm ready. I think Dell ndio alikuwa na hiyo shida.
It was a weird laptop. Once you put in a CD, inaanza kuiread, alafu inaanza kuicopy. Immediately. It doesn't give you a chance to just play the songs. So it copied the whole album. So for me, nikachezea Njugush, I think Kapungala, maybe na Kerera or something. Then I went home. The next day, Njugush ametoa ngoma, Tobina. And I'm Njugush, that's not part of my plan. I'm telling you, everyone requested for that song. Njugush played it once at Power Radio.
That's not Tobina.
And it flew. That song became big. It became like a monster hit. It was a monster hit.
Still is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Because
of course, big shout out to Danko, did an amazing job.
Yeah, Danko. So
how does Atalaku come into the
now? While we were writing all these things, Danko was like, because at that time there was a very famous DJ from, I think, Ivory Coast. He used to be known as DJ Arafat.
Yes, I remember.
So Arafat, he used to do something called animation. It's, in English, it's called animation. It's like you're making a beat with your mouth in the middle of a song. So when Danko had it, I was like, yeah, me, I can hack this thing. Well, like, Danko, Danko did one take. And we were like, that's enough. Yeah. Ara katakapuka punka punka ragatinka natika ara katakapum toliye tokangi demo ara katakapum pantakatinka pakara rakatakata pum ha.
And that was to be that.
Yeah. That's how he did it. And we were like, whoa, this is amazing. So for me, the highlight of when I knew now everything is happening is when I was just at home and I watched MTV Base playing Tobina. And I was like, okay, young man,
this is it.
It's happening. Because MTV those days was like, bro, once you're played on MTV, you know the whole of Africa knows you.
Red card pumpandisha.
You know, you're so sure the whole of Africa knows you. You're so sure. That one, it was guaranteed.
Wow. Bro, as we almost finish on lessons at 30, and I hope the upcoming artists at least are learning something in terms of strategy, perseverance, persistence. I just got back into it the 3rd time. And my prayers that this one will work.
Congratulations.
Thank you, bro. This time I decided like you remember the instruction that Abraham gave.
Yes.
One of the servants as he was going to look for Isaac's wife. He said, Rebecca. Look for one within our tribe.
Yes.
At this time I decided, wacha nichukule nyumbani.
How is it?
It's beautiful. I am enjoying.
Amen.
I can say this. I think one, because of culture.
Yeah.
I don't need to explain too much.
Yeah, I understand you.
She's already within it.
Yeah.
So there's no need of breaking down this how we do things. True, I found a woman who, I think when I was getting into her heart, I found there's a roommate who's God.
Amen.
Right?
Amen.
So I found a woman who is more in love with God than she is with me, of which for me that I was okay with that. Number 3, there was a present father figure
Oh.
in her big brother.
Mhm.
So she understands systems of hierarchy when it comes to marriage.
Nice.
And I think for me that is what I really, really needed. And
Mm.
now I'm also somebody who can stand with me in my vision. And I remember you and I laughing because I think our separations were more or less at the same time.
Yeah.
When I was working out on Nick and I, you are also on this other side with your ex-wife.
Yeah.
What is it that you've gathered as a man?
Mhm.
Because I know there's always the big question is always, is Owen ever gonna get back into it ever again? And I think when people teased you around the story between you and the first daughter, the question is, what will Owen ever get back to it? But for me as a small brother, I will not ask you that. I'll ask you what is it that you've gained as an experience when you were inside and now that you've just been, let's use the term bachelor. What is it you've gathered in terms of marriage, relationship?
Marriage is a very beautiful thing, by the way. I always say, I'm pro-marriage. I've never been, because for me it was more of I really worked so hard to make sure that I achieve a lot of things, just to make sure that I set up a very good family for my kids, for my wife, and everything. That was my dream, of course, in my late 20s, early 20s, mid 20s, even late 20s. And by the time I got married, for me it was more of now you've done one of the greatest achievements in this world. Now just focus and make everything work for you. And then things happen. When things happen, of course, I always look back as a man and ask myself so many questions. But conclusively, you always know that most of the things that happen in our lives, it's our choices. It's really hard to blame anyone else because most of it, you did it. No, you see, like right now, you're the one who picked that chick.
Yes,
you know her. So even if anything happens,
I
of course, guys will say things, but you, on
at the end of the day,
at the end of the day, you'll ask yourself, you wanted it.
I allowed it.
You did everything because you had a choice. So I feel marriage is one of those very interesting setups that there's a pastor called Pastor Maboya from Tanzania. You know what he says? Ndoa ni kisima kirefu. Ndoa ni kisima kirefu sana. Plural of ukuta ni nyuta. Nyuta zake.
Maukuta.
Si maukuta. I think ni nyuta or something. And then he says, kisima hiki, nyuta zake ama ukuta zake, zinateleza sana.
Actually, it's kuta.
Ni kuta?
It doesn't have, it's kuta.
Okay. Zinateleza sana. Wale walio ndani wanalia sana, wanataka kutoka nje, lakini hawezi panda huo ukuta. Wale walio nje wanakimbia sana kuingia kwenye hicho kisima, na wale walio ndani wanapiga nduru, wanasema msiingie, lakini lakini ni ndefu, sauti haiwezi toka. So I've lived both. I've lived in marriage and I've lived outside marriage. And I can tell you for free, marriage is one of those things that a man is just good to have. It's not a must, but it's something.
It's not a must, but it's good to have.
Yeah, it's something good to have. It's not a must, but it's something good to have. That's what I always say. It's something good to have. Because once you meet a beautiful person, you can make a very beautiful thing out of marriage. Very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. Because marriage by itself is just a very beautiful setup.
So it's safe to say you haven't given up?
Safe to say, that whether I made the decision to give up or to do it again, or I discovered one thing that I'm very poor at is how to talk about it in public or expose it to the public. I decided now, whether I'll get married or not get married, no one will ever know. That's what I decided. I decided not to keep everything private because I'm very poor with handling that. I don't know how to handle it. I come in but I credit sana because you guys have the capacity to handle.
Me, I never care.
Yeah, you see.
I
so for me, I'm not good at it. I'm not good at it. Like, the things that you're not good at it. Me, I know I'm not good at it. I don't know how to handle it. I don't know how to handle relationship or marriage in public. I'm very poor at it. So I decided moving forward, everything, hata nikiwa bibi wawili hamtajua. Hata pengine kama niko nao sasa hawezi jua. That's what I decided. Because I know I'm very poor with that. That is one of my weaknesses. I don't know how to deal with it. I don't know how to handle it. It becomes a monster in my hands. So I've decided moving forward, whether I'm married or I'm not married, whether I'll get married again, whether it's come we stay, whether for me now moving forward, I just decided I have to keep it private because I feel like on my end, I'm very weak in handling such situations. So I know my weakness, I know my strength. That's one of my
beautiful.
weaknesses.
Saturday is going down. Is it on Saturday or Sunday?
Sunday.
It's on Sunday.
Yes.
We've had throwbacks of 90s, 80s, soul, classics, whatever.
Yes.
Finally, we're having what Kenyans have been asking for.
Yes.
The biggest gospel old school party.
Yes.
Trust me, I have seen a lot of them rehearsing, doing behind the scenes rehearsing. And I was happy until when I saw this amazing lady. Manzi wa maana.
Ni manzi wa nguvu.
Manzi ambaye amemkubali Mungu. Henry Mutuku, God.
Yes.
What?
Yes. For this show, it's just like paying homage to the guys who came before us. The guys who fought for this thing. Because, unfortunately about life, if you're not careful, sometimes you tend to feel like guys are forgetting what you've done, the part you played, the role you played. You trailblazed so many things. You started so many paths for guys. You planted so many trees for guys to enjoy the fruits and the shade. So we're just paying homage to these legendary people who started the new urban or the urban gospel music industry. From Jema Thiongo, Esther Wahome, Henry Mtuku, Rafton, DJ Josh, all these guys.
Mike, what?
DJ Josh would be there. Tina Nzuki would be the MC and Danko. So we are having all these people, Maximum Melodies, Zaidi ya Mziki, Kinalena, Jogsi, all of them. We're having them on that day. Just to pay.
If I fly back on time, because I'll be in Uganda. Yeah. If I fly back on time,
I pray that you make it.
Because for me, I know for me that was I have a lot of connection with that era of gospel music. And when I saw that, I was like, this is it. This is it.
So we're doing
the Gen Z can see what
I want to take the Gen Z for me, I'm doing a trilogy of events. So the first one is old school, second one is mid school, and the third one now is the new era gospel. So I want to
I know no song or nothing about the new era, to be honest.
So I want to take everyone on a journey. The oldies, I'll take them on a journey of understanding that there's new gospel going on. And the youngins, I'll take them on a journey to understand where these things started. So it's a trilogy of events. This is the first one. And then after 2 months, we're doing the second one. And then we're doing the third one. So this is the first one. So it's a trilogy of events.
All right. So this coming Sunday, live at the Sitam Karen. All right. That is opposite Quay, starting from 4 p.m. Ticket sales, how much is ticket?
Tickets 1,000. You can buy it at madfund.com.
All right.
Yeah.
So please, guys, make sure you're there. Millennials, this one is for us.
Yes.
Literally, by the way. Jesus, if you're a second born, third born, I would understand why you'll come because of your big bro, big sister. But for millennials, you know where this one is coming from. If you remember Henry Mutuku, you remember Zaidi ya Mziki, you remember songs by gospel fathers, you remember Daddy Owen, Rafton,
Jimmy Gates,
Giuliani.
Giuliani.
I saw Giuliani doing, of course, a rehearsal session as well.
Yeah.
My my God.
Maximum melodies.
It's gonna be big. So please make sure you are there. Sitam Curry gets open at 4. Tickets 1,000 at Mad
Kids
Fun.
is free. Children is free.
For kids, that's
For kids is free.
What age is kids?
15 moving.
15 going chini.
Yeah.
Yes, so those are free. So please, Marvo, make sure you come as well. Kids are free. Thank you so much. Bro, I appreciate.
Congratulations, bro. Congratulations, bro.
I'm happy.
Ohoreshinisha maana sana.
Now she has a desk. Yeah, she's taking over the management of the company.
Kabisa.
Yeah, that's how to do it.
Shindishilai.
Bas.
Kabisa.
Ladies and gentlemen, lessons at 30 of Dr. Ofweneke. Our guest lecture, the one and only Owen Muhante, aka Daddy Owen. Of course, please allow me to send a big shout out, of course, to Mom, Mrs. Mwatia, all the way. Sijakuona for a long time, Mom. In December, naakisha kwamba nimepitia. Salamu kidogo, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, please do have a good night. Thank you so much. Subscribe, share, and all the other social media platforms that keep on sharing the snippets of the show. Much appreciated to you, all right? This is brought to you by, of course, from 92 Degrees Creative Hub, and of course, a production collaboration between 92 Studios and Pro Studios. God bless you. Have a good time. Bye-bye. And of course, ISP, we remind you, if you have any skills and you want to export your skills all the way to US, the easiest way to get a green card is only through ISP. The contacts and the email address are right on the screen, and the offices at Mirage Plaza, 3rd floor. Bye-bye.